Welcome to our journey into building tomorrow's workforce. This is Unveiling Future Careers, the CTE Showcase webinar series, made possible through funding by the Bay Area Community College Consortium and presented by Workforce Innovation Labs, where education meets industry. Workforce Innovation Labs partners with colleges and regions across California to design, strengthen, and scale strategies that align learning with real-world careers. We're shining a spotlight on CTE excellence, best practices, and innovations ready for replication statewide. Every theme in the six-part series is crafted to advance the Chancellor's 2030 Vision for Success. Webinar 5 explores how bridging education and careers is transforming pathways from high school to college to the workforce. Across California, colleges and regional partners are redefining K14-16 alignment, creating seamless, equitable transitions that prepare students for degree completion and meaningful employment. Today, we're spotlighting 3 exemplary models of collaboration and innovation: Rio Hondo College's Career Pathways Partnership, a county-wide network linking K14-16 institutions to expand early college credit and career-connected learning across Los Angeles County. Cabrillo College's Agriculture Plant Science AST program is a fully developed transfer pathway built in partnership with CSU Monterey Bay. Gavilan College's Construction Management program blending dual enrollment, hands-on learning, and industry engagement to build strong K14-16 bridges into high-demand careers. This isn't just about pathways, it's purpose. It's about creating a connected system where any student can see their future, step into it, and succeed. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Mari Morris, Project Manager with Workforce Innovation Labs, and I have the honor of being your facilitator today. Joining us on the call are Audrey Libador and Xavier Nazario, Managing Partners here at Workforce Innovation Labs, as well as Pat Aquino, our fabulous and my favorite project management assistant. You've probably seen an email or two from her, but she really is the one making the magic happen behind the scenes, day to day, but also in this webinar. So thank you, Pat. Today, we'll hear 3 lightning presentations. After each presentation, we'll pause for a short Q&A session with that presenter. You can submit your questions at any time using the Q&A box. If you're not sure where to find it, go ahead, check out your toolbar. Typically at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you should see a button labeled Q&A. Click that, type your question, hit submit. We'll answer as many as possible live after each presentation, and any we don't get to, we'll address them there in the Q&A panel. At the end of today's session, we'll ask you to complete a brief post-webinar survey, so make sure you stay to the end. Your feedback helps us make the series stronger each time. So as a thank you, the first 60 attendees who complete the survey will receive a DoorDash gift card of $20. So think of it as your ticket to lunch. Now, to start us off, I'm excited to introduce Leah Martinez, a seasoned higher education leader with 15 years of experience building strong pathways from K-12 to college and career. At Rio Hondo College, she manages major grant-funded initiatives that expand educational access and strengthen workforce development. She also serves as the regional lead for the Strong Workforce Career Pathways Partnership in the LA Regional Consortium, where she supports collaboration across K-12 districts, colleges, and industry to improve articulation, dual enrollment, and career-connected learning. Leah is known for creating statewide models of partnership, including the Teach for LA virtual conference series, and continues to champion programs that open doors for students across California. Welcome, Leah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mari. Yes, I'm Leah Martinez, and as Mari's wonderful introduction mentioned, I am currently the project lead for this regional project, Career Pathways Partnerships. But just a little bit of a background. Dr. Lila Eddington actually was the one who started this project back in 2016, 2017. And when she retired this year in July, I took over. So I can't really get the credit for everything, for all the successes of this program, but I'm really honored to be able to present it to you today. So this regional strong workforce initiative is led by Rio Hondo College in partnership, of course, with the Los Angeles Regional Consortium, or LARC. And we are building stronger connection between K-12, community colleges, and industry to align pathways and strengthen outcomes for students across the LA region. CPP supports all the 19 community colleges in the region, connecting education to career and ensuring students have equitable access to high quality career and technical education pathways that lead to living wage jobs. So CPP actually began with a very simple premise. If no one is assigned to do the work, it doesn't get done. So before this project, most colleges didn't really have any dedicated staff that were focused on building or bridging systems between K-12 and college, especially in career technical education, where alignment work, as you know, is complex and often spread across multiple departments. That all shifted, of course, when Dr. Lila Eddington introduced a regional strong workforce program initiative that funded a career pathways specialist, or what we call a CPS, at each of the 19 colleges. These specialists serve as dedicated connectors, working closely with schools and employers to align career and technical education pathways. The role, of course, ensures that this work isn't just one of those one-time push or something added to someone's already full plate. It's coordinated, it's strategic and intentional. So who do we serve? So CPP's reach includes all 19 community colleges, over 100 K-12 districts across the region, and thousands of students along the TK14 pipeline. So each CPS strengthens relationships with K-12 districts, expands dual enrollment and articulation, and supports career-connected learning. Later, collaboration even grew stronger through CPP's partnership with the K-12 pathway coordinators, who are funded through the statewide Strong Workforce K-12 Pathway Initiative. So as the K-12 counterparts, these coordinators, pathway coordinators, play a vital role in actually ensuring alignment between the two systems, creating a unified approach that supports students from high school through college and into career. That's the power of partnership when both systems share responsibility for student success. So equity drives everything that we do. By aligning K-12 and college systems, CPP removes barriers and creates early opportunities for first generation and underrepresented students to earn college credit before they even graduate high school. CPSs and pathway coordinators, they map sequences from high school to certificates and degrees. They help our students explore clear, attainable pathways that lead to living wage careers. These early experiences, of course, build confidence, helping our students see themselves as college bound long before they even get there. So one of CPP's greatest innovation is its cross-system staffing model. The majority of the colleges in the LA region now have a career pathway specialist who works directly with K-12 partners to institutionalize alignment work. We also created a regional community of practice. This is really a learning network where specialists share tools. We learn strategies and solutions that can be scaled across all 19 colleges. So this approach makes alignment a permanent part of the system, not a temporary project, and serves as a model that other regions, of course, can across the state can easily replicate. So CPP is funded through the Los Angeles Regional Strong Workforce Program, with LARC serving as the fiscal agent. This is a regional investment which supports staffing, coordination, and shared professional learning. But sustainability has always been built in. Colleges are embedding the CPS's role into permanent structures. Alignment tools are now part of everyday practice, and collaboration with K-12 partners continues beyond the funding cycle. And the goal, of course, is lasting change, systems that keep working even after the funding ends. The impact is regional, measurable. All 19 community colleges are now connected in this work. Over 100 K-12 partners collaborate regularly. Thousands of students have expanded access to dual enrollment and CTE pathways. And this coordination is transforming how students move through our education systems and into high demand living wage careers. Of course, CPP directly supports Vision 2030 and strong workforce program metrics. We are increasing completion, reducing excess units, and improving workforce outcomes with equity. And by aligning early college credit and CTE programs, we help our students complete faster, they earn credentials sooner, and transition more efficiently into high-wage careers. Now let's dive into some success stories that showcase the transformative impact of our initiatives. So we have forged new agreements, as we mentioned, that create seamless pathways between high school and colleges. This means students can now progress without the burden of redundant coursework, accelerating their journey toward really valuable credentials. And next up is our dual enrollment expansion. Through regional collaboration, we have significantly increased opportunities for students to earn college credits while still in high school. This not only gives them a head start on their college education, but also introduces them to career technical education programs early on. All right, let's talk about data. The project has achieved 576 articulation agreements, facilitating seamless credit transfers for students. And despite a dip during the pandemic, the numbers have been steadily going up, getting close to our peak of 625 in 2022. And as for students who receive credit via credit by exam, that's also been steadily going up, almost on par with our high in 2018 prior to the pandemic. Now, looking at dual enrollment, in 2024 through summer 2025, there are about 1,800 CTE dual enrollment classes that we're offering. Additionally, almost 25,000 students have earned credits through dual enrollment, successfully linking high school education to community college and future careers. How about our collaboration? We're collaborating with 529 high schools, reaching more than 81 students across the LA region. These numbers really represent more than data points. They reflect real opportunities for students to gain a head start, earn credentials early, and build momentum toward their future careers. So let me end with one story that captures the spirit of this work. Geraldine from San Pedro High School began taking dual enrollment classes at Harbor College as a freshman. By senior year, she had completed the IGETC, earned 2 associate degrees, and graduated cum laude, all before turning 20. She's now transferring to Cal State LA as a psychology major and works as a student ambassador, mentoring younger dual enrollment students following her path. Her dream is to earn a graduate degree and a BPS credential so she can continue advocating for community college education. So Geraldine's story isn't the exception. It is the promise of what happens when we build strong, equitable pathways from K-12 to college to career. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the impact of the Career Pathways Partnerships Project. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Leah, and this important work that you're doing and the transformative work happening in your region. Thank you for sharing all that. Just as a reminder to our attendees, you can enter in a question into the Q&A on your bottom of your toolbar here, and we're happy to answer those questions. But while we're waiting for those questions to come in, oh, looks like we've got one from Michelle. Thank you. And she says, thank you, Leah. Could you please clarify how your career pathways coordinators are distinct from the K-12 pathway coordinators and how the latter fits into your model? Great question.
Great question. Yes, so actually our career pathway specialists, this project was actually formed before the K-12 pathway coordinators was formed statewide. So with the formation of the career pathways coordinators, we were lucky to have that K-12 counterpart that we can now partner with. Our CPSs work with them strategically to be able to map sequences. So they are the K-12 counterpart, and our career pathway specialists are the community college counterparts. And like I said, they work together to map sequences to make sure that our K-12 courses are aligning with the community college courses. And it just works perfectly because now we have that partner at the K-12 system that works with us. I hope that answers your question.
Great, thanks. And let us know if you have more questions. We've got another one here in the chat. Can you share more about what kind of data collection systems you use for better high school college alignment? Great question.
So we actually, well, with the alignment, we actually use, of course, the labor market information, LMI. And we also, as far as reporting, we started with actually just trying to collect data from each of the CPS, from each of the colleges, and then putting that into a report. But I think you're actually asking more about like LMI data, right? Is that can you clarify the data that you're trying to actually?
Yeah, feel free to let us know in the Q&A if you've got a follow-up question on that, on more specifically what data you're talking about. But it sounds like from your perspective, Leah, it sounds like the CPSs are really important in helping that data collection and that transfer of information.
Yes, correct. So, and we rely heavily on the LMI data, obviously, and then we of course work with our K-12 partners to look at what kind of data that they have at the K-12 as well, and we share that information through our regional community of practice. We share that data, and then we merge that data and see what strategic actions can we take.
Awesome. We've got another question from Leilani. What is the current structure or model for the dual enrollment team? And by the way, great work serving so many students, she says.
Okay, so for our dual enrollment, as you know, we probably each college usually have a dual enrollment department already, right? And this existed even way before this project was initiated. But our CPSs actually work closely with our dual enrollment coordinators. And then our CPSs then work closely with the K-12 pathway coordinators, so that we know exactly what pathways we need to put together, because we don't want to offer just one course. For example, we want to offer a pathway for our students. We want to make sure that the courses that we offer is not just one course, but it actually aligns with the certificates and degrees that we have at the community colleges. And that's really the role of our K-12 and CPSS. And then, of course, we work closely with our dual enrollment coordinator. Like here at Rio Hondo College, we have our own dual enrollment coordinator, and our CPS works closely with that person to make sure that we are offering a pathway, not just like a standalone class.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then we have one last question in the chat here. CTE pathway data I guess, is a follow-up question to the earlier question. So from high school to college for better alignment, what kind of data do you collect? And is there a system or database that you recommend? That's a tricky one. I know
Yeah.
that's a question across the state of like what the best systems to collect data are. So
Yeah, so right now, I can only talk about the community college uh, data collection system that we have, but it's not used by all the CPSs though in all the colleges because they have the autonomy to choose whether they use this platform or not. But Rio Hondo College and two other community colleges are using Course Connect, and this is specifically for articulation agreements. So we collect data through Course Connect. We collect enrollment data, we collect completion data and grades data, and our CPS would then transfer that data or take that data to our admissions and records. And then, of course, they do the actual credit work, giving the students credit. Um, there was another thought that I was thinking, but I kind of forgot. All right. Yeah. So we do use the Course Connect platform to be able to collect data for articulation. But for dual enrollment, our institutional research is doing that data. And my understanding is all the colleges, the 19 colleges, are using their institutional research department in collecting data as well for dual enrollment.
awesome. Thank you so much, Leah. And I think there may be some more questions that are coming in the chat, but in the interest of time, we're going to move on to our next segment. But thank you so much, Leah, for presenting this valuable information and sharing your time with us. And if you can answer the questions in the chat if they come through, because I have a feeling there may be some more. It's such a interesting topic. All right. Well, thank you so much. And to our attendees, you can continue asking questions in the Q&A chat, but I am really excited to highlight Cabrillo College's Agriculture Plant Science AST program with someone who's been really instrumental in continuing and strengthening its K16 pathway. Sarah Patino-Hulick was a first-generation college student who grew up farming in upstate New York. Her career includes research roles at Cornell University, followed by agronomy and horticulture research positions with Driscoll's and Dole Fresh Vegetables. Since joining Cabrillo College in 2017, Sarah has done it all, facilitated expanding the ag tech facilities, including a new 2,000 square foot greenhouse, which you'll hear about. And she has managed grants, written agriculture curricula, launched the Granas Reentry Student Success Program, and of course, taught in the horticulture department. Fun fact, she also created the world's first quantified food waste tracking program, Verified Rescued Produce, now serving as department chair for Cabrillo's horticulture and agriculture technology program. Sarah is committed to empowering students and building resilient futures. She's here today to share how Cabrillo's Agriculture Plant Science AST program continues to grow as a meaningful pathway for students across the region. Thanks for being here, Sarah. And apologies for my mouthful with my tongue twisters of, of all the things you do.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Thank you, Madi. I'm so happy to be here. Does sound and screen look okay?
Yes, you're good
Wonderful.
to
Okay,
go.
hi everyone. I'm Sarah Patino-Hulick. I'm here today to tell you about the Agriculture Plant Science AST program at Cabrillo College. So who do we serve? We serve transfer-focused students seeking bachelor's degrees in agriculture that are traditionally from historically minoritized backgrounds. These are first-generation students, Hispanic students, low-income students, and we try to support them through very clear pathways. What we do is we have this agriculture plant science AST degree that guarantees admission to a CSU institution. And we also do that in the context of providing very hands-on learning by doing curriculum in our 11-acre facility, which includes a certified organic farm, high-tech infrastructure, greenhouses, Mediterranean and Mediterranean landscapes, and an ornamental nursery. Our students primarily transfer to CSU Monterey Bay, and we also have students who transfer other places. And this is just one little piece of what we do. So our horticulture department actually houses 5 degrees and 8 certificates. And students can study anything from like traditional agriculture business all the way to ornamental nursery, landscape horticulture with us. So the keys to the successful partnership with CSU Monterey Bay is that CSU Monterey Bay has received a U.S. Department of Agriculture Next Generation grant. And it's a huge grant, and it really provides them the ability to create a lot of extra student support. The team over there, where we kind of, we do a very warm handoff to them. Selena Plancarte Arizmendi and Dr. Jose Pablo Dundor Arias have just been fantastic collaborators, and that actually is number 3. You need to find an enthusiastic and responsive partner. We can't create pathways on our own, and I am a really big proponent of like going where the water flows, and so find someone up and someone down, right? Like going up to the university level and reaching down into the K-12 system, where you can find that responsive partner who shares your vision. And really importantly, how this work got kicked off at Cabrillo College is we had a U.S. Department of Education Hispanic Serving Institution Title V grant several years ago that identified 4 programs at the college to create very dedicated, supported 2+2 programs. So we created this 2+2 program. I think the college has done a really good job of transitioning from restricted funding into the 2+2 kind of cohort surrounding support was transitioned into a pre-existing learning community called Estrellas here at Cabrillo. And like if you can get all that curriculum work done in those 5 years you have funding for, it should be able to kind of keep moving post award. So one of the things we've seen, I think that's really key to our success is hands-on learning. So we know that there are strategies that help non-traditional learners or people who are from traditionally underrepresented backgrounds. And some of those things that we use as strong tools and strategies and pedagogies here are project-based learning, whether it's a research project or a service project. We try to make sure the students have a lot of project work to engage with while they're in the program. So we have a certified organic farm. Students actually work on kind of creating the pathway of where this farm is going. They do projects and classes where they identify potential crops. They're doing all the management on this farm. We have an ag tech greenhouse that was funded with that U.S. Department of Education grant. With really high-end solar panels, LED lighting, environmental control. So students, I don't think you can just like say, oh, we have a program. You need the community infrastructure, the community support to build the high engagement infrastructure that creates opportunities for these students to really train in the career that we're trying to prepare them for. And we have indoor production systems like the picture on the screen. This is our aquaponics system, butterhead lettuce. We grow this and sell this year round, and I'll talk about our funding model shortly. So how is our program making sure equity is happening? When we added this AST degree, which was only in about 2017, it really allowed us to transition to supporting a new type of student. So having degrees that are part of pathways that go to a bachelor's degree actually allowed us to attract younger Latino students. In the past, our program had been a little bit older and a little bit more Caucasian than the college as a whole. And our program was kind of organized the way classes were scheduled. It was organized in a way that it was really serving people with full-time jobs. A single class would be booked, scheduled to be all day long on a single day. So someone could take a day off and take a class, but actually that was unintentionally disproportionately impacting younger Latino students who are actually trying to complete general education classes too. So we were able to fast track these pathways by updating all of our course schedules to standard meeting times and a Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday pattern that matches the rest of the college so that students weren't getting kind of pushed out of taking those gen ed classes during the same semesters as taking their horticulture classes. Hiring diverse faculty. If you can't see it, you can't be it. These students need to be able to see themselves in your program. They need to have mentors that look like them. So really kind of putting some extra effort into making sure we were bringing in experts from our community to teach these technical classes. And having culturally relevant curriculum has made a huge difference in student success here at Cabrillo Horticulture. Our goal is to revise one course per year to include content that's really relevant and engaging for Latino students. So for example, we revised Hort 1A, which is our intro plant science class. It's our biggest course at the college. You can use any plant in the world to talk about photosynthesis, right? But so we decided to use all plants that are indigenous to Mexico to talk about these core plant biology principles. So all the examples I'm using in this class now are indigenous to Mexico, things like poinsettias, marigolds, avocados, peppers, tomatoes, maize. So we create interest in the classroom and allow the students to really see that things that they know from their life are part of the, learning and science and becoming an academic and creating that academic identity. So a couple other strategies that we've used to kind of create this program is we are trying to build a pipeline by working with every high school in our service area that has some sort of agriculture or environmental science program, something that can kind of tie into our program. Now, Cabrillo College's service area is one of the probably smaller ones in the state. So this might sound really intimidating if you're serving a huge area, but I really do recommend to focus your efforts. I basically have two high schools that I've got a really strong kind of commitment from and relationship with, and we make sure all the sophomores in one of the programs come up to our school every year, and we make sure all the students at the other school, which is a little bit smaller program, get up to our school every year through field trips. I try to engage every school that has some sort of agriculture program in our service area once per year. That is my goal. It doesn't happen every single year, but I would say the ideal is that they come up for a field trip, they see the campus, they get that exposure to being on a college campus. But another good option is if I go to their classroom and talk to them about the program or just about something they can learn here. We're trying to increase enrollment. I think that's probably the story across the state. And making sure that we really connect with high school students is a big part of that. We were able to get one articulated class into one of our biggest feeder high schools, probably 4 years ago now. And that was actually a game changer. It's amazing how a single class or a single kind of action can create a lot of momentum. So we were able to articulate one of our core classes down at Watsonville High, and that's been really key. And next year, we're looking to a few more collaborations we're excited about. So I really think it's important when you're building these pathways, like you need to be their biggest cheerleader. You need to talk about it with the students. We actually have created foundational field trips in those foundational courses in our program where we take the students to CSU Monterey Bay. So I've got 50 students who are going to CSU Monterey Bay every year, and obviously they're not all transfer bound or they're not all going to go there, but it just starts kind of creating that community and students seeing themselves coming from this high school to this community college to this university. Their program is really supportive. They use a cohort model. They have the students in classes only, I think it's three very long days a week. so that students can have jobs and take care of families, and they kind of understand the students that we're both serving. And they've had really amazing success rates in both graduation in 2 years and in job placement. We've really changed who we serve in the last couple of years. Our students, with all of these changes I've talked about, have really changed. We have increased the amount of Latino students enrolled in our program by 17% of the whole. So now our students are equally as likely as being Latino as they are from any other background in our program. And doing some of these changes, like it seems simple, but making sure your course patterns and course cycles and schedule times kind of match that alignment to the four-year university has actually changed the amount of degrees we've conferred in the last couple of years. From the most we had ever conferred before was 11, and last year in May we conferred 20 degrees, and we got our largest cohort ever going to CSU Monterey Bay. So I do think you really have to meet students where they are. For next year, I'm going to move to the next slide. So meeting students where they are. Next year, we're launching our first CCAP dual enrollment course at a local high school that ties into our program. And this spring, we're actually launching our first two classes ever that we're teaching at our offsite high school. So I think you have to find students where they're at. And let me just talk a little bit about kind of sustainability and funding. Our program is self-funded. Our college calls us an enterprise department. We make a lot of our own money. Last year, we made 89% of our supply budget, paid 9 student assistants and 2 temporary staff. I don't do anything other than work. No, so you do need a lot of institutional support. That can come in the way of, we have a really supportive team over at the career education CTE program, and we have, I think, institutional support in terms of the amount of department chair units that I receive compared to a lot of other departments, because we are running a business and running really complicated facilities. And we sell produce and plants we grow at the Aptos Farmers Market every week. We're there rain or shine, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we also have 2 plant sales a year. And we usually do at least one other community event per year that has a goal of some fundraising. That being said, it's, there's a lot of things we need to improve on. We've got a group looking at how to make more money through our farm and through more specialty crops. But we're also wanting to look into more grants and private donors and other alternatives, because we did have a budget shortfall of $65,000 last year. So there are a lot of challenges, but I feel like there's so much community support that I think we're just going to keep growing and building. And this is the picture on the slide here is one of our student assistants, Isabella, managing our high wire cucumber crop in our new ag tech greenhouse. So this is the view from our facility. It's a great place to learn, although students sometimes do get distracted by our beautiful sunsets. And I'll just end it there with a Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. And there's so much that you're doing. I feel like we can't even do it justice with the little time that we have, but I appreciate you sharing all these amazing things that you're doing. One question that we've got here in the chat: do you introduce business or entrepreneurship coursework as a part of that and career opportunities within this program?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for this question. We do actually, one of the other degrees we offer is the agriculture business AST. So part of that, we have an introduction to agriculture business, which actually has a really strong entrepreneurial kind of bent to it. And a lot of our alumni that serve on our advisory board are kind of self-employed and running really successful businesses. So they always help us keep that entrepreneurial spirit and business practices and skills as part of our curriculum as well.
Awesome. And we're getting a lot of words of encouragement and props to you, Sarah, but props to indigenous plants from Mexico. Sarah rocks. Awesome. So thanks, everyone. One more question that I had really quick, Sarah, because I know you mentioned it before when we were chatting, and I thought it was really fascinating about the project-based learning that you do to really encourage students buy-in to the program, right? They're part of it. They see themselves in the work that you do, and how that's, how you're inventing what's next for the program and what kind of plants that you're incorporating in your business model.
Oh yeah, thanks, Maddie. Yeah, I was telling Maddie a couple days ago that we just planted a new citrus grove, And we're trying to we're trying to build so that in the future we don't have to work as hard to make the same amount of money. And these ideas for new crops come from the students themselves. It's amazing. In one of our organic farming classes, we do a project every year where they propose a new crop for the facility. And, it really is, students come to, I think, all aspects of academia, but especially plant science, with a lot of their own kind of history and knowledge and care. And you can outsource some of this really hard strategic work and ask your students for input on crops they've seen work in their community or with people they know who are growing and farming and trying to, hustle culture, along with, of course, bringing up the economic outcomes and educational opportunities for the students too.
Awesome. It just seems like an amazing puzzle piece that fits into the ecosystem of the work that you're doing. So, again, thank you so much, Sarah. And if there's additional questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Sarah can answer them. But well done. Thanks for joining us. All right. So, next up, we've got two educators who truly demonstrate what high quality work-based pathways look like in practice. Jessica Terry serves as the career education and nursing counselor at Gavilan College, where she has supported students since 2009. A psychology instructor and licensed marriage and family therapist, Jessica brings a holistic approach to student success. She's been instrumental in strengthening partnerships with high schools across Morgan Hill, Gilroy, Hollister, and Monterey to create clear and responsive pathways from high school to college. CJ Goulart is the woodworking and construction management instructor and CTE coordinator at Live Oak High School. With nearly 20 years of experience in education, he has expanded a single woodworking class into two hands-on pathway courses, Woodworking 1 and 2, which culminate in CNC machining and cabinet making, along with a construction management dual enrollment course. His programs emphasize real-world, project-based learning, ranging from custom cabinetry to agricultural cooperatives to a tiny home build. Together, CJ and Jessica show what's possible when strong instruction and intentional counseling come together. And I'm really excited for y'all to hear what they have to say today. Welcome, Jessica and CJ.
Thank you. And I just quickly want to give a shout out to our dual enrollment team. I know some of them are on the webinar today. And when I started in 2009, my first class that I taught was specifically a college course at one of the local high schools. And it was really the only kind of dual enrollment opportunity that our local high schools had. And just how much the program has grown is amazing. And it's all the work of our dual enrollment team at Gavilan and also our local high schools. So I want to give a shout out to them. So thank you for having us today. And actually, CJ's gonna take on most of this today because he is so passionate about the work he does, and what he offers to his students is amazing. So I'm just gonna quickly introduce the construction management CCAP agreement that we have with Live Oak High School. It actually is a amazing example of how the local high school and the community college can work together to provide a great opportunity for students. So our construction management program here at Gavilan College consists of 5 courses. And all of those courses are articulated with Chico State's construction management program. As most of you probably know, the CCAP classes are free to high school students, so they get the college credit for free, no charge to them. And so a few years back, CJ actually contacted Gavilan College to say, hey, this is what I teach, this is what I do at Live Oak High School. How can we get this dual enrollment opportunity for our students? And so CJ worked with our construction management faculty to develop the curriculum to have it fit into, his program at the high school. And he has done a lot of work at integrating the curriculum so that he is teaching the construction management courses within his hands-on classroom experience. And so it provides, again, a wonderful opportunity for students to learn the skills, but then also learn the construction management side. Currently, CJ has taught the first 3 of our construction management classes. In the spring, he will be teaching the 4th class, which would mean that his students, if they've had the opportunity to take all 4, that they can come to Gavilan, take the 5th one, and earn their certificate. My role really is pretty easy at this point. I helped originally kind of connecting CJ with the appropriate people and all of that. And then currently I visit CJ's classroom once a semester to kind of just talk to the students, give them a connection with Gavilan College, talk to them about the opportunities that they have at Gavilan, or, you know, maybe transferring to Chico State at some point, or any other CSU, right? So to kind of acknowledge that they are a Gavilan student and that we are here to support them with their next steps, whatever those are. Another thing that we have done is to introduce the opportunities at Chico State. So we have had Chico State present to the Live Oak students. Once we had someone from the construction management, the department chair of construction management, present. This semester, we had someone from the concrete industry management program at Chico State. And then we also organized a field trip to Chico State, and Live Oak students were invited to attend that. And I believe we had about 7 or 8 Live Oak students go with us to that. And it was a great experience. And yeah, I really provide the opportunity to bridge the gap between Live Oak and Gavilan. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to CJ, and thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, we couldn't do it without her for sure. So appreciate the introductions. I'll just jump right into my programs and how they work. I think that's probably what is people are most interested in. Excuse me. So when I first took over our woodworking program, it was a little bit of a mixed bag. There was a wood shop class, and then the capstone was a construction class where they did a handful of different things, but there was not really a defined pathway. Most importantly to me, there was no real instruction in the skilled trades, or at least it was not emphasized in the curriculum. So that was one thing that concerned me. There was also no industry relevant training. So what the kids were learning, it was fine, but it wasn't really relevant to the industry as a whole. And then I didn't feel that the program, the way it was designed, had any workforce readiness. So what I did was I went and split up the 2 programs and had a woodworking program and a construction management program. And on the woodworking program side, we focused in on the industry management skills. So we teach a little bit about CNC machining. We invested in a CNC, and we focus on the culminating class, for the capstone class for that is our cabinet making class. So I went and did some training with Michael Samarza out at West Oak Studios down in San Bernardino to learn how to program cabinets in Cabinet Sense, and then came back and we introduced the digital design side to the students as well as the machining side. So what's cool about that program is the kids that love the computer work, they have an opportunity to do it. The kids that like driving the machines have the opportunity to do that. And then the kids that like to literally just do all the assembly and building, they get to do that. So in introducing them to this industry practice, they find perhaps maybe a niche that they can work in. The other program is our construction management program, as we've already been talking about. When I took that over, we had a curriculum. It was Paxton Patterson, and it's a great curriculum. I really like it. It was a module-based curriculum where students would work for 2 to 3 weeks in a module, and it just introduced them to all the skilled trades. I did that for about 4 years. I liked it a lot, but it didn't feel like students were really learning enough to help them in the industry. I felt like it was coming up a little bit short. So when I reached out to Gav and we started talking about dual enrollment, I then began to look at the course outlines and what that would look like, and found that there was going to be a significant challenge trying to do module-based learning and just scratching the surface on skilled trades, while also meeting the rigors of a college class and construction management practices. So kind of back to the drawing board, I had to go, and I found that when I had large scale projects, it was much easier to facilitate the curriculum from the rigors of a dual enrollment and Chico and what Chico State is looking for, and the hands-on applications of work that my students want. Kind of like was just mentioned a minute ago, you know, project-based learning is vital at the high school level. And if I was to sit the students down in front of a lecture, me being the person delivering all the talking, that would not go so well, and kids would not sign up for the class anymore. So it's been quite a challenge, but I did find that when I had projects, large projects, it was much easier to do that. And I could talk forever about why that's much easier, but I'll just leave it at that. That was much easier. So the natural development or evolution then was, okay, well, I'm running around the campus looking for projects. So I don't know if oh, there it is. One of the projects right here is you could see on the top left corner where the kids are by the shed. Right next to that is our greenhouse for our ag program. So they needed a barn. So we built that barn for them. But what was happening was I was running around trying to find stuff to build. And that's just it's a little too variable from one year to the next. And I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to hit on all the things that I want to hit on. It also made it really tough to do the same stuff from one year to the next. And that made it really difficult for me to kind of feel like I was reinventing the wheel with every project. So I needed some stability, and I started thinking about building tiny homes. One of the problems with building tiny homes is that you need to get the trailers certified, and then the materials cost was just going to be over my yearly budget of what I could afford. So I went to one of our CTE conferences and met Nick Mosley with California Tiny Homes, and was really excited at the opportunity to use their curriculum, but was finding that we were just going to come up a little short when it came to money. So we went and joined a consortium with Milpitas Unified, and we were able to secure a grant. And the grant afforded us basically what I've accounted for is we needed a new forklift in order to be able to move materials around. And then the amount of the grant is enough to build 2.5 tiny homes. Obviously, we'll build 3, but it's enough to fund the building of 2.5, with the idea that by the time I'm done with that second and third, it's funded the fourth one. And then the fundings from the third one are funding the fifth one, and so on. So the idea is that we are using that grant as kind of a leap, a diving board, if you will, to help us move forward with this project and fund it from one year to the next without having to take CTIG funds from other programs. Also, we don't qualify for a lot of Perkins money, so that wasn't going to work there. So working with Tiny House, California Tiny Homes has a nonprofit called Tiny House Incorporated, and that's where they do all of their high school curriculum. So if you've never heard Nick Mosley talk about it, highly encourage it. Go down to Fresno and check out the facility. I had the privilege of actually working for a week down there to kind of get my hands on the actual project and learn from them while they're building them. So anyway, Nick does a really good job, and the curriculum is fantastic. One of the highlights of it is it includes inspections. So I buy certified trailers through them, and then the curriculum includes video inspections. So every chapter, there's, take pictures of all your nails, take pictures of the insulation that you're putting in the trailer, and you basically have to document everything, and you submit it, and then they approve it, and then you move on to the next chapter. So it's pretty cool. Another part of that funding that we got from the Strong Workforce Grant, as I mentioned, we got the forklift. So that's going to include now forklift trainings for the kids. So they'll all become OSHA forklift certified in the process. And that's something that I'll be doing here with the kids. So real quickly, what does it look like? And this is me being visual. I had to figure out, okay, what does the construction management content look like? What are they asking me to do? What does the course outline highlight? What are the skilled trades that kind of associate to those things? And then what are some of the projects we can do? And as I started building this out, I realized like, yeah, the tiny home is really where it's at. It's going to be able to allow me to give kids an opportunity to learn skilled trades and then also go into the construction management industry. So when I talk to the students and I say, this class really is about college or career ready, it could be and if you want, that is the goal of this class. If you do not want to go to college, look, here's a potential pathway where you could make a great life for yourself. Or if you do want to go to college, here's a way you could do this in the construction industry. I'm pretty much done here, but I do want to highlight, as was mentioned, when it comes to community, I have put together an advisory team for this project. So all of the people listed on the screen in front of you are either close friends, family, or extended friends that I know personally. They have all joined me in being my advisors. So for example, Jennifer Lee, Cupertino Electric, they donated all of the material for our electrical rough-in. So all of our wire was donated, our boxes, and on and on. Each of the people in front of you have mentioned the same thing. You just tell us what you need donated, and we will see how we can facilitate getting that. And also the other thing they've done is they've brought in, or they've sent in, and in some of the cases they themselves have come in and actually trained with the students. So Rich Pignoni from Paragon Mechanical, they had sent one of their plumbers in as we were doing our rough-in. The plumber taught the kids how to do takeoff when they're measuring their pipes, so that when we put our drainway system into the tiny home, things line up and they're not running a little short or they're off. I have some additional partners that I reach out to as well. Some are local, some are up in Chico. So we have a lot of people behind our project, both in monetary support, in physical support, and all. What matters sometimes the most is just good old camaraderie and supporting you and saying, hey man, you're doing a great job and I think this is an awesome program. So I could go on and on about some of the different things about this program. Some of our successes, just real quickly, we have 85 of our students, 85 have completed their OSHA 10 construction industry certifications this fall. So they are OSHA certified. 10 of our graduates this year will have 12 college credits. We're really excited about that. 6 of our juniors are going to have 12 college credits this year. And those 6, I'm going to push as hard as I can to go to Gav in the summer and take 105 so they can finish the certification program. And we obviously will project that all of the students that are in the class will complete all 12 credits next year. When you talk about career readiness, you can't ignore the opportunity to actually create jobs for students. So we're really excited to show you that just in our 2025 graduating class alone, and this is just from my program, I didn't highlight any of our other successes outside of this program, but unique to the construction management program, we had 3 students who were hired in the skilled trades, 1 union or 1 non-union and 2 union. One of the students starting their apprenticeship, they crushed the test for the 393, our local plumbers and steam fitters union, and they're going to be doing process fittings. That student is going to be making 6 figures in about 3 years. They are going to have a really, really great job for themselves. We've had different internship opportunities for kids, including the heavy metal summer one. And then I mentioned Jennifer Lee of Cupertino Electric. They are actually taking on the heavy metal summer internship. They're doing a spring and a summer internship. And then last summer, summer of 2024, one of our students interned with SC Builders. So this is probably our greatest highlight. Is it's not just like, hey, this is what we did in a class, and kids have had they got to play with some of the tools and break things and then figure out how to fix it and do it the right way, but actually lining them up in a job, in a work environment, so they can see for themselves, this is what this looks like. Some of our struggles, and again, this is topics for forever, right? Balancing that rigor with hands-on work, that's a major challenge. I'm a former AP government teacher as well, so I understand rigor very well, and trying to increase rigor while keeping kids working with their hands is quite a challenge in this environment, or my class environment anyway. learners with special needs, meeting deadlines, and upholding quality. Kids will get stuff done for you on time for sure, but it doesn't mean it's always great. And then the last major challenge here is just managing that hands-on experience while also teaching. I catch myself all the time telling them, yeah, do this, this, and this, just telling them, here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3, go do it, and forgetting that they literally don't know that. And I'm going to have to go and teach them what step 1 is, what step 2 is, and what step 3 is. We are actually, I meant to talk earlier about our Strong Workforce Grant, and we are doing a follow-up to that grant that's going to include the funding of like mini courses. So doing either a 0 period or a 7th period or an 8th period where students are able to get more certifications like welding, or even students not enrolled in my class coming in and doing the forklift training. So those are some of our highlights of the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CJ. Amazing work that you all are doing, and we've gotten some comments to shout out on the same of just wow, amazing work, fantastic work. I apologize if we're a little past the top of the hour right now, but I want to make sure that if there's any questions that if you want to submit them, feel free, but I'm sure CJ and Jessica will be happy to answer them. We can also reach out to them after the webinar. We will be sharing that info afterwards, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So I apologize that we're a little bit past time. But as we wrap up, I do want to just make sure that I extend a huge thank you to our fabulous presenters, Leah Martinez, Sarah Patino-Hulick, CJ Gallart, and Jessica Terry. You guys are amazing and so inspiring. So thank you for sharing and bringing so much valuable information to the conversation. And thank you to the attendees for attending and staying with us, even though we went a little bit over for the first time. But before you leave, please take the survey. It's in the link is in the chat now. Thank you, Pat, for sharing. It really helps us continuously improve these webinars. And we do have a webinar coming up in February. So mark your calendar for that. But here at WIL, we're a project management firm really dedicated to helping great initiatives achieve their vision. So if you want to check us out, make sure you follow us on our channels or check out our website. And to everyone on the call, thank you for joining us today. And thank you for all the seen and unseen work you do in supporting learners and enriching our communities. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day.